I'm Seba Manuel. I'm in my fourth year right now at UBCO. I've spent my 4 years here playing for the Heat. I've always kind of been surrounded by volleyball and athletics. So my dad is the women's coach here, as I'm sure there's a good chance you've heard. So yeah, he's been coaching here for over 25 years. So I'd say that he's always been pretty driving factor in that sense for pursuing athletics and to see how far I can push myself and see what I can achieve. So I'd say that his guidance and his kind of mentorship has really pushed me to where I am today. And coupled with that, my mom works for the school board here in Kelowna, so she hires all the teachers in the school district. So on that side of things as well, she's always been really driving me with my academics. So both of those things combined and coupled together, I've been pretty driven by my parents to achieve my goals and see what I can do with them. There were a lot of little individual moments, I'd say, that would really spark that in me. I remember going to my dad's practices all the time and just hanging out and messing around with his players. I remember those as pretty core memories, but I'd say the big moments for me would be going to watch professional matches. I watched Team Canada a couple times when I was younger, and I'd say those were pretty eye-opening experiences for me. And then also kind of those times when I was younger and I kind of started to have a couple pieces click a little bit more and I felt myself really improving in a couple senses. Those were probably the most key moments for me in my development and then kind of my transition to that becoming my main sport. It's kind of a unique sport. It's not so much like, I don't know, like any other youth sport, in my opinion. It's very fast paced, and I like that every rally is worth something. It's not like, oh, you make a mistake, whatever, like that didn't matter or anything. But yeah, I just really enjoy that part of it. I'm pretty competitive. I'd say I'm quite competitive, and then I'm also very loud, but I like to think that I'm a pretty smart player. I like to the stuff that I do well, I'd say kind of is like a little bit nuanced. I'd say it kind of flies a little bit under the radar a little bit more, but I find that IQ piece and my intelligence really helps me to be the best player that I can be. He was not my main coach, but he was always helping out on every single team that I was a part of. So usually we'd have a head coach who'd be someone else, and then he'd always be one of the main assistant coaches, or he'd always be coming to most of the practices. So he'd always be kind of imparting some of that wisdom that he had to me. I don't know, I feel like all those little tiny details that I'm able to pick up that say the other player would not be able to, I'd say that comes from just being surrounded by high level volleyball and being surrounded by people that are constantly giving me feedback on those little details. So I'd say that was the difference maker for me, for sure. When I first got into the league, I was very focused on just doing the best that I could, and I still I think that's still a good way to look at it. I was just always trying to do what I felt I could do, but I felt very stat focused and performance focused, not so much what I was actually bringing to the court and to the floor. And then playing a little bit more freely and trusting myself and knowing the things that I can do has really helped me on both ends. I feel like I've improved statistically quite a bit, and then on the other end, our team success has gone through the roof quite a bit. So kind of finding that balance of, yeah, being a little bit safe here and there, but also trusting yourself to do what you know you can do has been pretty pivotal for me. The team culture has changed quite a bit in the time that I've been here. In my first year, there were 9 or 10 rookies, and then a bunch of second and third years. We only had a few older guys, and it felt not so much divided, but it felt like there were a lot of old guys and there were a lot of young guys, and there wasn't really a bridge in between the two. So it's been kind of cool to see it transition, and now all those guys that were young and were rookies and second years and stuff together are now fourth and fifth years. So it's nice to see that kind of transition across to I don't know, it's a different feeling, a different vibe, and I feel like that chemistry that we have now is kind of just grown from all the not so good seasons that we've had together, and now we're kind of like, hey, we put that stuff behind us, and now we can just enjoy this moment in this season, what we have going. There's a mix of emotions, because on one hand, it feels like this is the best season that we ever had in UBCO history, so that's pretty cool. It's really nice to kind of zoom out and realize this is happening right now. This is kind of crazy. From that other side, like, it just feels like we found our rhythm. We've always felt like we'd underperformed in previous years, and we'd always felt like we're a very talented team. And then it felt like we weren't entirely confident in our abilities to be a winning team. It was almost like we felt like we should be winning, but we just didn't know that we could do it all the time. And then Scott coming in last year has really helped guide us. And then we've added a couple more pretty key players to our roster this year that have just really deepened our practice environment, but also just been really key performers for our team. So I'd say all that together has really just come together and put us in the spot that we're at now. Like I said earlier, like every rally is worth something. So in that moment, this rally is the most important rally, but then after that rally's done, you have to move on to the next one and then the next rally over and over again. So it's really important to just put whatever emotions came from that last play behind you and focus on the next. So I've always been pretty interested in the mental performance side. Like I've had a chance to work with a few mental performance coaches. We actually just worked with one last week. Scott wanted to bring her in, one from UBCO, and just kind of talk to the team and talk about our goals for the season and a couple methods that we could pursue those goals. So yeah, I've always been quite interested in that side of athletics. That's when kind of the fun and the energy side of volleyball really comes into it for me. So like I said, I'm a pretty loud and pretty energetic person. I'd say that when I can focus that energy and I can just pour it all into one rally or into this next play or whatever it is that I'm doing, that's when I'm the most present and I feel the most free, and I'm kind of just in that flow state. The time management piece is obviously pretty tough, like having to go to all your classes and then stay on top of your studying, and then obviously on top of that perform on Friday, Saturday, and have to train all the way throughout the week with workouts and everything. But something else that not everyone has to deal with that I have to deal with here is it's a 30-minute drive every day to get to the university. So that's one of the only downsides of living at home. But I don't know, I'd just say finding a way to manage your time is one of the biggest pieces. And once you figure that out, you're kind of in a good groove, you're kind of in a good spot, then you can really just let go and focus on both the academic side and the volleyball side. My biggest dream or goal since day one for volleyball has been to be a professional athlete. So afterwards, I'm going to try and pursue that in Europe, most likely. I'm going to go overseas after next year is done. But on top of that, I also want to play for the national team, if at all possible. And then way down the line, after potentially all of that happens, I'm planning on doing something physiotherapy related along those lines for however long I do that for. I'd say that there's been a couple times where I've thought recently, like, what would it be like to not be an athlete right now? And I have a really hard time thinking about that, which is kind of scary on one side of things, but on the other, it's just a really comforting feeling that I'm still able to play sports and be in that kind of comfort area. But I'd say that volleyball has helped a lot of other aspects of my life, because this is the side of my life where I'm performing and competing and enjoying myself the most. So then when I'm doing those things, it kind of gives me confidence in other areas of my life that I can just kind of be myself and do my thing. And I'd say that it's just shaped me in some ways that I wasn't really expecting at first glance. Obviously, I can't really give any advice to what comes post athletics because I haven't quite reached that yet, but I don't know, trying to find that balance of not being too stressed about what comes after, because you really want to make sure that you're present and enjoying the moment that you're in currently, because that's most important. If you're present, you're making the most of what you have right now, you're going to be the happiest, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd say just trying to focus on being present and enjoying the moment and being comfortable where you are.